We went to England and stopped by the YouTube space. They are closed. Welcome to Crocs in the Kitchen.
I'm Jessica.
And I am Brian. This is our final installment, I guess, of our trip to England. And this one isn't about the food, and it's not about our diet, and it's not about weight loss. This is purely just us and a little travel vlog that we wanted to do to just showcase all the different random fun things that we did while we were on our trip in England.
So if you're not interested in seeing that stuff, close this video. No, I mean, I know this is definitely like not in line with the goal of our channel, but we just had so much fun and we wanted to share it with you guys in case you guys ever take a trip to England and are looking for things to do.
Yeah, but we did end up going to the YouTube space. They were closed. Yes. It was one of the first things that we did because it was right near our hotel.
We actually didn't even realize it. We were going to eat like breakfast
at Leon, actually,
the morning after we got there, and we just happened to, on my Google Maps, I saw that YouTube space was nearby, so we walked on over there. But it was weird because it was like Christmas week and all that, so they had weird hours that week. But yeah.
And it would have been cool to go in and see, you know, it's not like we're not like famous YouTubers or anything, but it still would have been nice to just go in and check out, maybe get some photos and stuff, but they were closed, and so we weren't able to do that. But we ended up, after that, heading on a train up to Nottingham. And there, though, we had ourselves an absolute blast, as you guys may recall from the video with Martin the Great Potato Mage, where I made them a lovely dinner. But that wasn't all we did. What else did we do, Jessica?
Well, the whole reason we wanted to go, because a lot of people have asked, why did you go to Nottingham? It was actually to see a pantomime, which is a very British thing to do around the holidays, apparently. And it was our very first one. And it was basically, we went to see Cinderella, and a pantomime, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like loosely based on parts of the story of Cinderella. Like, everyone knows the story of Cinderella, so they don't need to rehash the entire thing. But they show different scenes, and it's just like over the top. Like,
there's a huge amount of crowd participation.
Yes. And
inside jokes and
a lot of things we didn't understand that Martin had to explain to us later.
Yes. But it was a lot of fun for me just because it was nothing that I'd ever seen before. But yeah, Jessica here just absolutely loved one of the characters.
Well, two, actually.
Two of the characters.
So, Sooty the bear, which Martin, our friend Martin, who's from England, he turned me on to Sooty, which is just incredible. It's like, it's a kid's show, and there's talking animals and squeaking animals and puppets and all kinds of things. And so they had Sooty and Sweep from that show in the pantomime, and it was super cool, and I was really excited to see that, and that's one of the reasons that we wanted to go to that particular pantomime.
Yes.
But it was cool because Nottingham, it's actually a really cool little town.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I want to go back there for sure. There were so many different things. Two of the things that we did, we went to, they had like their winter market kind of thing going on in the town square with the ice skating rink and all that stuff. And so we went and walked through that at night, and it was just really cool to see all the stuff. And then we also went to a couple of board game cafes because Martin is very big into the board games.
Huge.
And so one of the cafes that Martin and I actually went to was vegan. So all of the stuff they had there was vegan. And then we went to another one later that night and after the pantomime and played a really cool game that was like a panda, and it was a whole thing. And it was just like these are like unique board games. It's not like you walk in and they're like, oh, play Monopoly or Trouble or Sorry. It's all these really unique ones that people have come up with and are more like independent kind of board games, I guess.
Yes. But Nottingham was sort of a quick stop for us, and then it was off to the place that I absolutely wanted to go to, and that was Leeds.
Yes.
Now you may ask yourself, hey Brian, why'd you want to go to Leeds? And there's a very, very simple reason. It is because of the Royal Armouries. Now, the Royal Armouries is something that I have known about and read about and seen in documentaries and stuff for a very, very long time. I believe it is the largest collection of medieval arms and armor like in the world. And it was just this amazing thing that I absolutely wanted to go see. And I saw a branch of it when we were in Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville?
Yes, and because they had one at their history museum, a branch from the Royal Armouries. But to actually go there and see the thing in person and get to experience like a lot of the different demonstrations that they had, just amazing. Like seriously, one of the best things that I've ever done in my life.
He was like a kid in a candy shop.
Absolutely.
It was ridiculous. He was like just going crazy, and it was cool to see him in his element there.
Yeah.
Also, we had Martin with us, and then we met Lisa and Mike there, and we've met them through YouTube as well. They don't have a channel, but they're just I've just connected with Lisa on Instagram, and so we were really excited to meet them there, and we just had an absolute blast with all of them, and it was just so fun. But Leeds was actually a really cool town too, and I want to go back there because we didn't really get to explore a whole lot of it because we only had a couple, like a day and a half there.
I like any place that has water taxis.
Yeah, it's just really cool walking over all the little pedestrian bridges and all the different things, and the views were from our hotel room and the views from the armory. Everything was just really cool.
And there was that giant market that was there too that we ended up wandering through for a good while.
There was a giant market.
That was super cool.
That was a lot of stuff that was yeah.
But we couldn't spend all of our time going to Leeds, although we did actually go to the Royal Armouries twice. We went 2 days in a row. But we actually ended up going back to London for the majority of our trip. But the first major thing that we had to do was get to the New Year's Eve celebrations, which were down by Westminster, Parliament, and Big Ben and all that. But it was across the river from the London Eye. And so we got a front row seat to what was the best fireworks display that I've ever seen in my life.
But so you buy tickets in advance and for certain zones. So I bought these months in advance when I knew we were going to go out there. And so we bought tickets for what is considered the best zone right across from where the fireworks display is. And it was so organized. And they, honestly, if you guys are ever thinking about doing the fireworks there, they have it down. They have a system down. It was, I mean, anything like that in America, I guarantee you is not that organized. It was so just the whole process, and you weren't jammed in next to everybody. We had space and all that. Yeah. Of course, all the people were jammed in over there, and we were like, hey, we're going to stand back here and dance and be goofy. Yeah. Because we did have to wait a few hours, because you have to get into your zone a couple hours before. And so we had a few hours, and it was cold. So they had like a little convenience shop, and we just kept getting in the line and going in the convenience shop and then
warm up a bit,
to warm up, and then exiting and then getting back in the line, because it was a big line to get in a queue, as they would probably call it, to get in the convenience shop. But anyway, the fireworks were amazing, and you guys, we have like clips of those that we will show you guys over this or somehow.
Probably already showed you a while ago.
Something, I don't know, but you see the fireworks. It was a great experience.
Yes, I had a blast doing that one.
But then on New Year's Day, the next day, we went to see an Arsenal game. So it's Arsenal versus Manchester United. Yep. And I honestly I don't really know that much about football, aka soccer for us. But Brian said, hey, my boss can like hook us up with some tickets for this game. Do you think you want to go? And I was like, sure, why not? And it was one of my favorite things that we did on the entire trip.
Yeah. So are you saying that you're an Arsenal fan now?
I mean, I did get an Arsenal scarf.
We did get some merch. So
like in the seats that we were in, unless you're in the visitor zone, I guess.
Yeah, it was like the club level.
You have to wear like their colors, or they will.
Yeah, they even said they had rules for like wearing away colors at a home game.
Yeah,
so it's like
crazy.
But we ended up buying some merch there, and we got like a game day scarf and stuff. And
the home team won.
Yeah, Arsenal won.
I got a video of a really cool corner kick. I don't know anything about soccer.
You'll see that, trust me. But unfortunately, the only problem with it is that I'm a Wolverhampton fan. And so it was kind of funny. See, now I say that I'm not like super like into sports anyway, but if anybody ever asks me what team I root for in the Premier League, I say Wolverhampton, just because I love their colors, I love how their team plays, and I know they're doing really well this season as well. But Arsenal, it was amazing actually going out there and seeing the team play and just getting that experience, because I guarantee you there is no American sport that has crowds like that,
Not
that
as
reacts that
passionate.
way. And
Those away fans, the Manchester United fans, they were louder than anybody in that whole place. That was just so crazy to see.
Yeah.
And how they had all the little guards lined up like
Yeah.
along the away section in case any like chaos when it was crazy.
Yeah, but it was so cool to actually go and get to experience like a Premier League game in England. It was just amazing.
So the next thing that we have, if you see me looking down, it's because I have my little notes down here.
Of course, you got notes.
I always have notes.
I know.
So you can't go to London without hitting up a bunch of museums.
Yeah. I mean,
And
like,
so-
history is kind of their thing.
The first one I think that we ended up going to was the British Museum because it was really close to where our hotel was.
Yes.
And they have the
Rosetta Stone. Yes.
which was cool to see.
Well, I mean, they've got a ton of super
Oh, yeah.
cool stuff. Don't get me wrong.
I feel like
but-
a lot of that stuff is stolen though.
We actually had a lovely discussion with Martin about that.
I was like, where do they get all
mean,
this stuff?
It kind of
They
is.
just
I
can't
mean,
take it. No, I mean I'm sure we have plenty of stuff too. So.
oh yeah.
Yes.
But it was so
just cool.
It was kind of like the fulfillment of an old dream of mine. You guys know that I really, really love history, and you think like when you learn in school about like the Rosetta Stone, that like it's this thing that unlocked an entire language. It created an entire branch of history and study for people like over the last couple hundred years. And so it's just phenomenal to walk into this building and to see the stone there and to actually see it carved out and to see like the history behind it. And it's like you get that sense of like, this is the thing that unlocked a huge part of the history that we understand for Egypt, and like just so much stuff. In fact, like it's now become synonymous with basically unlocking any kind of language.
Yeah.
And even the Rosetta Stone like language learning kits or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like exactly that.
But we were in there for hours. It was
we
there's
just
so
wandered
much. We didn't
around.
even see everything. There's so much to see.
Yeah.
We had like a list of they'll give you a little guide that had a list of things not to miss, and so we kept trying to find all those things to make sure we hit them all. But there was so much stuff to see. But the cool thing is a lot of these museums were free.
Yeah.
Actually, I think all of them were free.
Yeah, all of them were free.
They all ask for donations, so we did give, they asked this like, hey, £5 here, £5 there, whatever. But they're all free, which is just crazy.
Tell you what, also, most of the museums here in St. Louis are also free.
Yeah, so come to St. Louis.
Get to see free stuff.
But the next one we went to was the National Gallery, which was the art museum.
Yes.
There's just so many. I mean, I don't even know. I'm not like super big on art history. Sorry, Brittany Giroudi. She's an art teacher, so she's probably like, no. But there's just like all these names that anybody would know. Name some of the names.
Oh God! I mean, it's like, of course, the most famous that I think I saw there was Van Gogh. I mean, they've got.
Oh, was that the sunflower one?
Yeah, I mean, but they've got an entire exhibit dedicated to Da Vinci right now that I saw, and I mean, just so many.
It was insane.
I can't even possibly like get into all of it.
Picasso.
Yeah.
My favorite is
Renoir.
my favorite's the one with the water lilies.
Monet. Yes, Monet
Yes.
was always.
My art teacher histories are like rolling around right now, like wah.
I really, really liked a lot of the pointillism parts that they had. Just yeah,
it was really cool.
Brittany and I were actually having a discussion because there's Wi-Fi in there, so we actually had like internet access, and we were just talking about the different photos and stuff that we like. Just of all the different fantastic art that we were looking at, just amazing. I know I'm saying that a lot,
How many
but
times can we say amazing and cool?
Yeah.
You guys count. Do a counter. Someone tell us. No.
don't play a
Don't
drinking
really.
game of this.
No,
though.
don't.
You'll
Don't
die.
do it.
You'll die.
Okay, Brian's favorite museum had to be, besides the Armouries, which counts as a museum, but in London, it had to be the Imperial War Museum.
Yes, the Imperial War Museum was just full of great stuff from World War One, World War Two, and other conflicts as well. They've got planes strapped to the ceiling.
You walk in and there's just planes, and Brian is big into the aircraft.
Oh, I love airplanes. Yes, and in fact, like the only kind of comparison that I would say like had the same sort of impact with me would be like the World War II Museum in New Orleans. Like that, it sort of was on that level for me for seeing the Imperial War Museum. I mean, you walk the outside; they've got these giant battleship cannons just out there, and you're like, oh my, like those things are huge. And then you walk in, and there's just all these really cool exhibits of people that fought in these different wars, and they've got a special exhibit right now that I saw, which was like all these medals and stuff from World War One and World War Two. Just it's so good.
I was actually quite sick, so I was just happy that they had a lot of benches.
That they did, but that was top notch.
For me, my favorite museum was the V&A Victoria and Albert Museum of Childhood. I think that's what it's called. Is that what it's called? V&A Museum of Childhood, Victoria and Albert. It was just a bunch of toys.
Yes. Toys you can't play with, mind you.
But some of them, is interesting to see. Some of them were crossover things that we had, but other things were not. And so it was just interesting to see all the different things.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to go because I knew that they had a Sooty, Sweep, and Sue, and Peef was super excited, obviously, to see those because that was just super cool.
Yeah.
Wait, I said cool again. Cool counter, ding. But yeah, it was a really good museum. It was just done really well, and if you have kids, that's a perfect place to take them because they have little interactive things all over the place, and yeah.
So I think that is it for the museums, though, which, were, of course, some of my favorite things. But we also caught some shows while we were in London. Mainly, we went and saw Death of a Salesman, starring Wendell Pierce. And if you don't know who Wendell Pierce is, he is one of these actors who just shows up in absolutely everything. Like right now, I know he is in the Jack Ryan series. He was on Suits for a guest part. He was in Treme and like just a bunch. The Wire. I know he was huge in The Wire. Top-notch, amazing actor, and the production value at that place was just off the charts good. Like, it impressed me so much as sort of the weird theater nerd that I was in school. And so, like, yeah, blew me away with that one. But we also went and saw another one of my favorites, which was White Christmas, like the Broadway production version. And we caught it on the very, very last night.
Yes.
On the very last show, right? Mm-hmm. Of White Christmas. And it was so cool because White Christmas is my favorite Christmas movie. And so to see like the production of it in a theater was so cool. And
you just said cool twice.
I know. But I also got to fool around with the binoculars that came on the backs of the chairs.
He was so excited. He really wanted to get them when we were at the pantomime, but I don't think we had you had to have like a pound coin.
Yeah.
And so we got him at that, and he was just having a blast with those things.
It was very fun, actually, to be like, I've got my little binoculars. Yeah. But one other thing that we did, it's kind of a show, but not really a show. We ended up going back to that exact same theater, like, the next night or whatever?
Yeah, I think it was the next night.
The next night, because we happened to be in London on a Sunday, and at that theater is Hillsong London, which is, of course, the mega church that has spread out across the world. And I wasn't really, I wasn't going to pass up an opportunity to go to like a big church like that.
It was it was right down the block from our hotel.
Yeah, it was literally down the street. But just to be able to go and see like, the high production value that they have and the top-notch musicians and stuff and just see how they do all of their stuff, it really impressed me. But at the same time, I was still just thinking like, man, I was like, I really, really like my church, and so like I think that my church is almost up there,
So
with the value or with the level that Hillsong London has.
I think the day we went to that was like the height of my sickness, and I just had such a really bad cold. I think I slept through most of it.
Yeah, that is quite possible. But I mean, once you got to
But
sit
it was
down,
cool. It was cool just to see, and it was just a fun experience. I
Yeah.
said cool.
it was great. What's next?
Next is I have a thing for bridges. I like crossing bridges. I've walked across the Golden Gate Bridge, and I've gone across the Brooklyn Bridge, and I just like walking across bridges. So last time we were in London, we didn't get to go on Tower Bridge, and I was super excited to do it this time. So you walk across part of it, then you go up, and then there are two sides where you can walk back and forth up there, and you can walk where you can see on the kind of like, I don't know, is it glass or whatever it's made of, where you can see below, which is a little bit creepy. But the views from up there are just amazing, and the whole bridge, I'm just fascinated. It's such a gorgeous bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really.
I mean, it's iconic.
You can't. And they had little kind of learning exhibit kind of things along the way.
They had a tour of like the engine room that like actually made the bridges go up and down.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we weren't there on a day when it was going to be moving up and down. What do they call that?
Going up and down.
No, they have a name for it. Anyway, we weren't there on that day, but it was still just a really good experience. As soon as we got across the bridge, we just kept walking along the River Thames. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
And we just
close enough at least.
it was fun because we saw so many dogs. There were so many dogs on our entire trip that we kept seeing that were so cute. But we saw that really cute one along the river there, and it was just great views. And then we ended up going down to Borough Market.
Yes.
We walked to there, and Brian found one of his favorite places on the entire trip, which was called
Spice Mountain.
I think you were in Spice Mountain for at least a half hour.
Probably. So Spice Mountain was literally what you think it would be. I mean, obviously I'm showing footage of it right now. But it's just a shop that happens to sell spices in little containers and stuff.
Mountains of spices.
And it was heaven on earth for me because they had stuff that I had never seen before. Not only did they have spices, like obviously everywhere there was like piri stuff. They not only did they have like that thing, they had just these amazing curry spices. They had all these really, really good like African spices or Caribbean spices and South American spices. And one of the coolest things that they had though were fruit powders. And I ended up getting a couple of different ones. I got a strawberry powder and a black currant powder as well. And it was like freeze-dried fruit that is like has been blitzed into this powder, and I've tried it on a couple of different things, and it is so cool. And then like I got some balsamic vinegar powder because why not? And I found out it's amazing on popcorn. It just is. It blew my mind.
I came back because I went and wandered the market and came back, and then he's like, can I get all of these? I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
And so I bought a bunch of them. I bought a 6-pack of curry spices, and then the other 2 fruit powders, and then I got another tomato powder, which is exactly what you think it is. And then I got the piri powder as well. Just so cool. One of the coolest things that I think that I did there. And if I'm buying souvenirs for something, it's going to be something that I can absolutely use, and I love it. And I'm just looking for an opportunity now to use the curry spices.
So I had no problem with Brian buying spices because I just said to him, I just spent about 100 pounds on souvenirs at the Paddington store.
Yes.
So I think one of my favorite things on the entire trip was this Paddington tour I made Brian go on. So I was up in the middle of the night one night in our hotel, and I just thought, you know what? I really want to go on a Paddington tour. I really love both of the Paddington movies, and I've always liked Paddington, obviously, because he's a bear. Duh. And so I found a tour. They only do it for that time of the year. They only did like one of them, the official tour, on Saturday at 10:30 or something like that. And so I booked us on the tour, and we went on the train to Paddington Station, which the station itself is just super nice. I was gonna say cool, but and I got to sit on the bench that they have there, and then sit next to the little statues and all that stuff. But the tour guide was super awesome.
Yes.
It was just nice to have somebody who knew the area. The tour was like, what, an hour and a half? And we walked around a huge amount. We walked a lot. I made Brian walk a lot. But he told us like not only stuff about Paddington, where the movie, like we went around a lot of the places where it was filmed. And so he had like an iPad. Yeah. So he could show clips and photos from the movie and say, here, this is the clip you see. Like, this is where it was filmed. They do tours. The company, I'll put a link below to the company, but in the blog post that we'll have links to all the stuff that we're talking about in the blog post below. So if you guys want to go do or see any of these, we'll have other websites and stuff. But the tour company, they do other ones for
like
Harry Potter,
and Harry Potter
and all kinds of different stuff. But yeah, the guy was super awesome, and it ended at the place where they filmed the what do you call it? Shop, the
antique shop.
The antique shop, which is on Portobello Road.
Yeah.
Which then after the tour, we ended up exploring Portobello Road a whole bunch.
We got recognized by that.
Oh yeah, that's where
lady.
we got recognized by this one lady. We were just standing there. I was trying to steal Wi-Fi from someplace so we could figure out where to go to get to our next destination. And this lady came up to us and she's like, "I watch you guys all the time." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that was so cool."
But the shops on Portobello Road were just like really nice. Yeah. I ended up picking up a new laptop bag while I was there. It's this really nice canvas bag.
Souvenirs for your dad and stuff like
that.
Some coins. But Brian liked the Paddington tour.
I enjoyed the Paddington tour quite a bit.
The only thing that was wrong with it
was that it didn't have marmalade sandwiches, but whatever.
How did the tour not end with a marmalade sandwich?
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. We may or may not have had our own marmalade sandwiches later after that. But anyway, another thing that we did that was kind of for me was we went to Winter Wonderland in Hyde Park. Mm-hmm. And that was super nice because I really just like I just love all the winter stuff all the winter markets and all the winter and like Christmas decorations and lights and all that. So we went it was one of their last days there, and we went to see Paddington on Ice.
Yeah.
Which was just such a fun little show.
It was so goofy.
It was so goofy, and it didn't follow the plot of Paddington at all.
Barely had anything to do with Paddington.
It was very weird.
Here's a Paddington thing. It's like, and then here's all of these ice skaters just doing this weird little dance number.
I think Winter Wonderland starts in November and then goes through like the first week of January usually. So if you're ever in London during that time, I definitely recommend checking out Winter Wonderland, especially if you have kids. They have all kinds of like rides and arcade kind of, carnival games and that kind of stuff.
We went through that snow and ice exhibit.
Yeah, I made Brian go through this really cool what was it? It was a Christmas Carol, right?
Yes.
And I went down this ice slide, and I actually went down twice because it was so much fun. But Brian wouldn't go down at all, and he was so mad that I made him go into there because he was so cold. But I don't know, I like being in the cold. I used to be a figure skater. Cold is where I like being. But yeah, it was just a really good little time we had at Winter Wonderland. Although Brian did not win me the Santa hat Pikachu that we kept seeing kids walking around with.
We kept trying to find it, but we couldn't find the place that actually you could win it at. But
on our last day, we decided, we had been wanting to get out of London again.
At least one more time.
But I had been so sick that we didn't end up doing so. And so I was up again in the middle of the night before our last night, and I booked us on a train to go to Brighton.
Yeah, we were hoping to get out of the city one more time. We were thinking about maybe, going to like some of the other places,
the Cliffs of Dover.
Yeah, the Cliffs of Dover.
But I read that didn't have very good recommendations for going to that area.
Yeah, or like Stonehenge or something like that. And then I was like, oh, Brighton's like due south of here. It's like it's really close by, and it's right on the channel. It's like, why not? It's a different city. We don't really know much about it, so we went down there, and
it was one of my favorite days of the trip.
Yeah, it was just
great.
so nice. It started out as a really, really sunny day, and it was just had a really great feel to it. And then very, very quickly it turned cloudy and rainy.
Yeah.
And but we were walking along the beach,
watching that storm roll in and the changes in the weather. Like it was, we will never be able to reproduce that day. Like that day and those moments we had there, it was just the perfect storm, literally.
Yeah.
Because we got to see it when it was bright and sunny, and then the water changed colors as because I guess all the like kind of dirt and stuff was getting more incorporated into the water as it got more rough or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
But I loved it because it's not a sandy beach. It's all like
pebbles. Yeah.
And I love that because I don't like getting sand in my shoes, and I'm not a very good beach person.
Yeah.
But it was super awesome.
And then we went to the pier.
Yeah, the pier, and they had two arcades on the pier, which
Yeah.
you know I'm a sucker for an arcade. I won a bear at the claw machine, which was super cool. Dang it!
Yeah,
I was gonna say awesome.
We played some coin pushers.
Oh yeah, they have the ones. What was it, like a 10p or?
It was like 2, I thought.
2p. Yeah, the 2p
coin pushers.
coin things where you put it in, and then those were fun. And
to those kids who jumped on our game when we ran out of coins, and then ended up winning
and then
a bunch
everything
of stuff,
fell.
like because we had put so much time and effort into it. We don't like you guys, and we know that video is somewhere on YouTube or something like that.
Yeah.
We may find it just so we can comment on it and say, "Hey, that was our machine." But
those were our 2p coins.
Is what it is.
But yeah.
But then after that, we ended up
yeah.
walking a little bit up the road a bit.
Now wait a minute, don't go on to that yet, because we went to the Pushing Cafe.
Yes.
So they have they have a store in London called Art Box, which has a bunch of like Sanrio, San X, all kinds of different all the little characters and all that stuff, like Riley Kuma, Hello Kitty, all that kind of stuff. But they have a Art Box Cafe in Brighton that's a themed cafe, and they change the theme every 3 months or so. And so the theme was Pusheen, and the cat. And so they had just all kinds of cute stuff. They had a little shop and then a little cafe, and the cafe had lots of vegan options too, which was kind of nice. But yeah, they changed the theme every once in a while, and so we got to check that out. But then my favorite part was when I got to go ice skating.
Yep.
So I found this ice skating rink, and I forget what it's called, but the building that is behind the ice skating rink is just this super awesome building, and everything was raining, and it was lit up, and it was just the only problem was I went to go rent the skates because he didn't skate.
No, I don't skate.
He went around to the other side. But I've never used hockey skates. I've only used figure skates. So I go to rent my skates, and they only have hockey skates, because at home I always have my own skates with me. And so I did not know how that was going to go, because not having a toe pick is very different than having a toe pick. But I got on the ice, and my first lap around, Brian was cracking up because he's just watching me, and he's like, "Why are you like clinging to the boards?" And I thought I was gonna bite it, but after a while, I got more comfortable, and I felt pretty good on the ice. But yeah, it was super. It was just, that rink was just the way that they had it with that. We'll have to put the name of whatever that building is, so you guys know what it is.
Yeah, I don't remember myself.
But yeah, it was just super nice, and that ended our time in Brighton.
Yeah, and then it was back up to London and get on a plane and head on back home.
The next day we flew home, and that was it.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing trip. We both decided it was our second favorite trip after our honeymoon, which we spent in California and drove up and down the coast.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, every time that I looked through pictures, it was just
makes you want to go back.
Yeah, I just want to go back. There's so many more places I want to go in England, but I just, it was incredible.
Yes. So I can guarantee you we will be going back again at some point in time. We don't know when it'll happen, but we have a lot more that we would love to go see. Obviously, we want to go up to Scotland sometime. I want to see Wales, and I know we want to hit up Ireland as well at some point, and just so many. I mean, we could literally go to every country in Europe and be absolutely ecstatic with that.
We need to go to Berlin.
We got to go to Berlin so we can go visit Martin and his wife, and just, you know, all these different things that we really would love to do, and you know, eventually we will get the opportunity to do so. But I think it's great that we got this chance, and I'm really happy that we got to record it and share it with you guys. You know, because our entire lives aren't wrapped up in our diet or in, you know, us losing weight. You know, we have a lot of other things that we love and we are interested in, and traveling is certainly one of the top ones in our lives. And
if there's anything that I've thought multiple times after this trip that I would say to people, that I have said to people actually, we put this trip off for so long because we kept waiting for the right moment when it was like, oh, we had, you know, this amount of money saved up to do it or whatever kind of thing. And we put it off for so long, and I just look back and I just wish we'd gone back sooner, because you know, you can obviously, like, you have to worry, like, I'm not the greatest with my money, but you have to, you know, obviously not everybody is able to do stuff like that, and I totally get it. But if there's something you can do, just do it, because it's the experiences that you will gain and the people you'll meet and all that stuff is just so much worth it.
Yeah, traveling is one of the great experiences I think people can do, just to sort of broaden their mind and broaden their horizons and just see what else is out there. I mean, the sheer amount of food and stuff that I was able to experience and then now bring back and experiment with and figure out how to do it our way. Just, I never would have gotten that opportunity had we not gone on the trip. The ability to go see the Royal Armouries, which I've been dreaming about doing for more than a decade now, like, seriously, bucket list item for me. So it was amazing. And I'm just very glad that we were able to go on this trip, and I'm glad that we were able to film it and show you guys as well. But you guys know the drill after this one. If you guys have not found us on social media, please go ahead and do so. We are on Instagram and Facebook, and you can send us messages, you can comment on things, and just tell us what's going on in your world. We all greatly appreciate everything that you guys do on there. And also, if you have not subscribed, please do so, and click the bell notification that is right next to it so you get notified whenever we post a new video. But I think that's all I got.
That's all I got.
We will see you next time on Crocs in the Kitchen. Bye.